Hi, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and this is my review of Beneath a Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. So I actually started this book at the beginning of July. I had read 3 books that were set in Italy, and I decided to read this one along with them because it's also set in Italy. The reason I was reading this book is actually because my husband's mother, my mother-in-law, was reading this book as well. And so she was going to come visit us in August, which she and both my in-laws did. I wanted to be able to talk about it with her when she was here. So because of that, I decided to read this book. Beneath the Scarlet Sky follows an actual real person. His name was Pino Lella, who grew up in Milan. In the mid-1940s, he joined the resistance against the Nazis, but in a very sneaky kind of way. So the book starts off in 1943. Pino Lella is 17 years old, and he's just a carefree teenager who likes music and likes going out to the movies, and he desperately wants a girlfriend, and he's just enjoying life and kind of ignoring what's going on with the war. But when Milan starts getting bombed, he and his brother are sent off to Casa Alpina, which is a place that's further into the mountains that's hopefully going to be safer for them during the war. While Pino's there, he makes connections with a guy that teaches him how to drive, and Pino's also already pretty good at skiing and hiking. So the guy who runs Casa Alpina, Father Ray, he ends up getting Pino to lead Jews out of Italy through the mountains and into Switzerland, which is safe territory. For me, this is when the book really got exciting. Watching him lead people through the mountains, through the snow, across really scary, treacherous passes that, they're not beginner level hikes right here. These are things that are pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Eventually, after doing this for several months, Pino ends up being forced to enlist in the war upon turning 18 in 1944. And he ends up working for a Nazi as his driver, but working as a double agent as well, and sneaking information that he gets during his work days to the resistance to help defeat the Nazis. So I'll admit that the first part of the book, I wasn't feeling completely sucked in. I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is that I'm kind of generally worn out of World War II books. I've kind of avoided reading them in the past couple of years because there's just so many World War II books. And I mean, I think it's an important topic, but it's also something that's so overdone that I kind of just get tired of it, and I've been avoiding it for the most part. That was part of it. I think another part of it is that the dialogue felt kind of stilted at the beginning. There wasn't very much variation in the dialogue qualifiers. So it's like Pino said, Mimo said, Carletto said. It's just like everyone said it, and it just, I don't know, it just started to bother me. It's like, you can come up with another word. You can say asked or something. But because of that, I thought maybe the format wasn't the right format for me. So I actually, after reading the first part, the first like 50 pages or so, I actually switched to listening to it as an audiobook instead. And that actually worked much better. I think I enjoyed listening to the story and listening just like a little bit at a time. Also, I think it just happens that's when the book got more exciting, is with part 2 onwards. But from part 2 onwards, I really did love the book. Part 2 was really exciting when we got to see him going through the mountains and helping people, including people that were terrified, a pregnant woman. There's an avalanche at one point, and they get trapped in this little tiny hut for a day or two. It's very exciting, and it kept my attention effortlessly. And then later on, when he goes back to Milan and starts working as a spy, that's pretty exciting too, but in a very different way. It's pretty nerve-wracking thinking, is he going to get caught? Is the guy that he's driving around going to find out what he's doing? And meanwhile, Pino's also developing this romance with his woman, the maid who worked for his boss's mistress. So there's a lot going on with him being a spy and with this developing romance between himself and Anna. There's also conflict with him and his family. I mean, being a spy, he can't tell anyone what he's doing. No one can know. So the only people that know are him and his aunt and uncle, who are the ones who kind of got him into this role. His own dad doesn't know. His own brother doesn't know. His best friend doesn't know. And when they start to see him, wearing the Nazi symbol on his arm, indicating that he's a Nazi working for the Nazis, They of course assume the worst of him, and he loses his best friend. His brother wants to kill him. It's a lot of a burden for him to carry, not being able to tell them the truth about what's going on, and them thinking that he's a horrible person for siding with the enemy. So I like that it dives into these conflicts. It also dives into the conflict of him kind of liking it when his Nazi boss compliments him or says good things about him. You know, he likes feeling the praise, but then he thinks, well, this praise is tainted though. It's coming from a Nazi. I should hate him. And he has kind of a conflicted relationship and feeling toward his boss, General Lyers. I think that's really interesting how it dives into that conflict and this weird relationship that they have with each other. The book goes into a lot of detail about a lot of things. I mean, you can see it's like 500 pages long. It's over 500 pages long. And you get to see a lot of stuff happen in just a span of 2 years. It gets really heavy towards the end. Some horrible stuff happens near the end of the book that made me feel really sad, actually, for a while. But I think it was really well done once I got past my initial not connecting with the book for a little while. Based on this, I'd actually be happy to read more from Mark Sullivan. He has a new book that came out a few months ago that I might check out as well. Although this book is very dense and has a lot of heavy themes in it, it also has a lot of lightness and good moral lessons to it. So I think it was really interesting, and I'm glad I read it, especially as the audiobook, because the audiobook was very well done. I liked the narrator. I think it was just a really nicely done book. So I gave this book 4 stars, and my mother-in-law, by the way, also loved it. I think she would probably give it 5 stars, actually. So I'm happy that we both got to read it and talk about it. And that wraps up my review. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to get all of my latest videos. You can also find the links to read my full written review on my blog and on Goodreads in the description below. You'll also find the links for all my social channels. I'm currently on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'll be publishing reviews for all the books I read, so at least once or twice a week you'll see new videos on my channel. So keep checking back for more, and I hope to see you there.